Okay, I am back again to do part 2 of my video where I tell strangers on the internet my life story and what happened to me. Which feels really, really weird when you spent your whole life not talking about something and just trying to imagine that it didn't happen, trying to pretend like you're normal, which doesn't work, by the way. It doesn't work. Anyway, I've tried to make this video a few times, and I am finding this one even harder to make than the first one, and I'm not sure why that is. So I'm just gonna try and keep it as simple as I can, get to the facts that I remember, and maybe in the future I'll be better at talking about details or whatever, but I feel like if I don't just make something and just get this out of my head and into physical form and just get it off my chest, then I'm just gonna, every day I'm just gonna be like, do I really need to do this? I mean, it's been this long, and why are you judging up the past? And all these kind of mind games that I play with myself to try and like silence myself. Because that's just what I was taught. You don't talk about family stuff. You don't talk about inside stuff with outside people. You don't talk about family stuff with non-family. But I don't have a family anymore because of this. So I don't know why I still like gaslight myself into silence, and I really don't want to be that person anymore. So anyway, here goes. Okay, so essentially I was engaged, and I had to wait it had the waiting period before they could marry me to my ex-husband, but he didn't know that. So they were kind of like, my family was kind of like dragging their feet on this, and he couldn't know that he couldn't know about why that was. And I don't remember exactly, but I know that was creating some kind of like drama, some kind of like friction. He wasn't happy about it, and I was hearing about it from my uncle. And then basically I hate talking about this, because to talk about it I have to like go back in my head, and in order to tell you, I also have to tell myself. Like, I also have to allow myself to like remember this, and this is the thing in the world that I least like to remember, that I least like to think about. So it's difficult, and I'm sorry that I'm not better at this. I'm gonna skip some stuff right now, because I'm either gonna make an imperfect video, or I'm not gonna make any video at all. I don't know why this is so difficult for me, but it is. So I'm just gonna skip ahead to when we got married. I'm leaving some stuff out. Maybe I'll get into it later, or maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. Anyway, so we get married. I remember being at the wedding, and I was told to hold a Quran, like a little one, and to just basically not look up, not look at people, not laugh, not smile, but just to be very solemn and just read out of the Quran and stay focused on that. And so that's what I did. I was just like reading this little Quran, and I stayed very solemn, which was really easy to do because I had all this stuff going on that nobody knew about. So it was very easy for me to be, very solemn and whatever. And it wasn't until like much later, like as an adult, after I was out and I left and all this kind of stuff, that I thought about how messed up that is as a message to give to girls, that like we're not just like that you shouldn't be happy, that you, if you show like it, like a marriage is not a happy thing when you're a child bride. It's an obligation. It's a duty that you do for your family and for your community, and it's not supposed to be anything about you, anything good for you. Anyway, so wedding night, I remember him saying that I could keep my scarf on, I could keep my dress on, I didn't have to take anything off. He said, you should just take the bottom of your dress and just put it over your face, and it'll be easier for you that way. And I actually don't remember anything after him saying that. I remember putting my dress over my head, like over my face, and that's it. And for the entire time that I was married to him, I don't have any memory of like marital acts. I know that they happened because I remember how I had to dress when I was in the house and what the purpose of that was for. And I remember like talking to my aunt and her best friend at the mall when they were like getting me to get these like short skirts and all this kind of stuff that I would wear in the house. But I don't have any, literally zero. I have absolutely no memory of anything ever happening that way, which is so weird because I have such clear memory of everything that happened with the imam, and then I have, but memory and trauma is weird, so I can't really, I don't know. Anyway, so on our honeymoon, we were in Disneyland because I got to choose that. I have no idea how we got there. I don't know if we flew. I don't know if we drove. Like, no idea. And you know, it's like really creepy when you have these massive holes in your memory, these things where you remember pieces and then you try and like, it's like a puzzle, and like you have like these 2 or 3 pieces, and then when you try to like go outside of that, and like there's just this blank space around those pieces, you know. And it's really terrible to feel like, sometimes I feel like I don't fully know who I am because I can't remember so much of my past. Like I just have these memories of these like traumatic events, and then everything around it is just blank. And that's something that makes me like just it makes me angry. Makes me really angry and sad. Anyway, so we're at Disneyland, like some of my first memories being married, and we were watching this show with this like parrot that like rode a bicycle, and I laughed, and he stood up in the middle of Disneyland and just started screaming at me like, how dare you, laughing in public, trying to make a spectacle of yourself, trying to make people look at you, drawing attention to yourself. And I was just like, what? Like, I had never been told not to like laugh before. Like, my family wasn't crazy like that. So he just like, we're sitting, he like grabbed me by the front of my clothes and like picked me up, and then just like hit me and like pushed me like, and like drugged me out, took me back to the hotel. I don't remember what happened after that, but I remember that at some point he was sorry, and because he was sorry, he said that I could swim in the pool, because when we had gotten to the hotel, it had a pool, and I wanted to swim in the pool, and he said I couldn't. I wasn't allowed to swim in public. And I'm talking about swimming like with all my clothes, my hijab, everything. And he said no, but then after that happened, he let me swim, and it was nighttime, I think it was probably nighttime so that nobody would be around, but I'm not really sure. And I remember being in that pool, and he didn't get in, and I was the only one in it. And I just remember that it wasn't, like, I thought it was going to be fun to, like, swim or whatever, but by the time he let me swim, it was just ruined. And I just remember being in the pool and not even wanting to be in it anymore, but just being in it because he was, like, letting me do it. So then it's like I had to, but then by that point I didn't want to. No memory coming back from that trip. Don't know how long we were there. I don't know. The next memory that I have is being back at the apartment that we moved into. And his older brother, also lived in this apartment complex, which had a gate in the front that you needed a key to get in the gate, or if your car had this like scanny thing, it would just like open automatically for you. And then there was another key to get into our building, like the main door of our building, and then another key to get into our actual apartment. So there was 3 keys, none of which I had. So I could not leave the building. And even if, like, when he was gone, if I wanted to go in the hallway, I could like put something in the apartment door so I could go in the hallway a little bit without a key to get back in. But I couldn't leave our hallway because on both sides of the hallway were like doors that locked, and it was the same key that would let you in those doors that would let you onto the floor as the key that would let you into the main door of the building. So I would just be there, like, radio haram, music is haram, television's haram, and he even used to take the phone with him when he would leave. Like, he would unplug the phone and take it with him to work. So I just existed in this apartment by myself, reading books basically, and I was supposed to be cleaning and cooking and doing all that stuff, and I did cook, but I was starting to get really depressed at this time, and it made it really difficult for me to like do things like up to his standards. And I was already figuring out that, like, like when he would get home from work, like I wouldn't know when he was going to come home. He couldn't call me because he would take the phone with him. And this is like before cell phones. I mean, they existed, but this is like, 90, 96, 97, like around this time, so like he would just show up from work like whenever. And if I didn't have, like, if the food wasn't like it had just finished cooking, like it would be like a whole thing. And he didn't used to hit me like in the beginning. Like, he would mostly just yell at me a lot, and he would hit like the wall or the counter near me or something, or he would break something, but he wasn't really like hitting me. And then the first time that he really like hit me was because he wanted me to help him fill out these paperwork, like so he could get welfare. That said, his English wasn't very good, and he wanted me to fill out these papers saying that he wasn't working so he could get like food stamps, benefits, whatever. And I was like, I can't do that. That's haram because it's a lie. You are working. And he got so mad about that. And that was the first time that he really like was very physical. And that night when he fell asleep, I went in the bathroom and I locked the bathroom door and I fell asleep in the bathtub. And then from that point on, It would be bad a lot, and when it was bad, I would just go in the bathroom and like sleep in the bathtub. And he was gone a lot. He'd be gone a lot, and I was alone a lot. And I don't know how long it was after we got married, but the imam moved in to our building with my ex-husband's brother. Right, so we were on the 3rd floor, and they were like literally right underneath of us on the 2nd floor. And when that happened, when he moved in, my I don't want to talk about this. I really don't want to talk about this. Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough. This is a short video, and I will just have to keep making this in pieces, or I'm never going to make it at all. So, to be continued.